Greetings, comic friends. You may notice that my lips aren't quite matching my voice. I recorded this CGC unboxing, and when I went to upload it, for some reason, there was no audio. So I obviously cannot do another blind opening of these for a couple reasons. One, obviously, it's not blind because I've seen them already. And also, I've already given some of these books to their rightful owners, to customers. So I didn't want to throw this away, so I'm gonna dub it. It's a little different. It's a little weird, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe it will be fun. Maybe it will be ridiculous and stupid. Who knows? So obviously, I'm gonna know as I'm recording this what's coming out of this, or what's coming out of these boxes, and what the grades are. There were a total of 33 books, so I'm gonna open up this small box of 8 first. Little spoilers here. I was really not happy with the grades that that the submission got. There were a lot of things that I think were graded really low. Even looking at the notes and looking things over, whoever graded these, I there's some subjectivity to it. There's always the thing where people say, like, if you get a grader on a bad day, you get bad grades, and that might be the case here. I don't know. Could just be the subjectivity. Maybe it would have been the same no matter what. But anyway, so here's the first one. This is my book. Everything in here that's mine, I got to resell. So Marvel Spotlight 32. This is the first appearance of Spider-Woman. Got a 7.0. I'm actually pretty okay with this. I knew this was probably in about that range when I submitted it. So at this point, I'm not crushed yet, but we'll definitely get there for sure. So here I'm trying to dig stuff out without looking, because I didn't look at the grades beforehand. I wanted to be surprised. I was hoping to be surprised for the better. This is X-Men 133, so this is the first solo Wolverine story. This one I definitely expected to be a bit better than what it ended up. Came out a 7.5. It's still not a horrible grade for, a Bronze Age book. It definitely looks a lot better than a 7.5. I was thinking 8.0, 8.5 at least, if not a 9.0. So I was pretty upset about that one. Let's see. Next up, we have Carnage Mind Bomb #1. This one came back a 9.2. I was hoping for a 9.4, 9.6 on this. Again, I looked over the graders' notes on some of this stuff. There's one in particular that I really don't understand. We'll see coming up. I honestly don't remember where it is in the video. But yeah, across the board, things were lower than what I had really hoped for, expected. And I understand. Ultimate Fallout 4. This is a second print Pacelli variant. This was someone else's, a 9.2. And, I looked over all these again, with the graders' notes, and I still think they were low, to be honest. Like, even seeing the notes and go over the book, and with those notes, I was like that one right there. Like, this should still be a 9.4, even with those notes. It was a rough opening. So this is Web of Venom Funeral Pyre. This is the Clayton Crane NYCC comic, NYCC exclusive. This was fine. I think this was the major, maybe not the only, but the okay, all right, I'm not totally crazy. That came back a 9.8. So obviously I was happy about that one. This one I wanted to be a little bit higher. This is a beautiful looking copy of Vengeance of Bane. I was hoping for a 9.6 minimum, but we got a 9.4 on it. You know, what are you gonna do? You can see it in my my face there. I've been told multiple times that I wear my feelings through my on my face, or my facial expressions really express what I'm thinking. And coming back and watching this and dubbing over it, I really can see that. But that's okay. I think it's adorable. Can I say that? Can I say that I think that I am adorable? Is that allowed? So Amazing Fantasy 1, this is the first appearance of Aranya, a 9.4, and was hoping for at least a 9.6. And it's not a bad grade. It's not a bad book. It's not bad. The grades that these are in, they're not bad books to have at those grades. It's just I was expecting better. This is Avengers 257. This is the first appearance of Nebula. This, again, also I was expecting to be a little bit higher. 9.4. Again, not horrible, but I thought it was at least a 9.6. I've done a number of these other, unboxing videos, either be it from CGC or CBCS. And again, it's a subjectivity of the grader and, myself, obviously, but the other ones, I'm usually pretty spot on with what I think things are going to get. So this grader and I just did not see eye to eye. And if my consistency is true across others, they did not see eye to eye with most other graders out there as well. So, I mean, it's luck of the draw of who you get, I guess. And I drew poorly. I don't know what else to say. So that was the first small box of 8. This is a box of 25. It's all the rest of them. Gotta be careful with a knife there, opening boxes. It's also real tough to not see the grades. So when I kind of look in, I'm doing my best to divert my eyes and just look in enough to be able to pull something out without seeing what it is or what the grade is. But CGC also prints the grade on the back. So having to sort of, I don't know, what do you say? Like, I unfocus my vision so I can see what I'm doing, but also not read anything. All right, this is a good book. This is Batman 4 something. I can't remember the exact number. But this is a popular McFarlane cover. It's a great McFarlane Batman in 9.2. I'm not super happy about that. Again, it's for that book, it's not a bad grade. It's just I was hoping for 9.6 on that one. I think is kind of where I think it should have landed. Next up, this is one of 2 DC Comic Presents 26, the first appearance of the new Teen Titans. This one is the 7.0, so this is the better of the 2. These two, actually, the DC Comics Presents 26s, these came back about, I think, what I expected. I knew they had their issues, but I still felt they're worth grading. For a Teen Titans fan that doesn't want to shell out for the hundreds of dollars, $300, $400, $500 for a really high grade. These are well presenting books. So the second one's a 5.5. Yeah, this one I knew was lower. It wasn't horribly surprising. It would have been nice to get the 6, but I could understand why it didn't get there on that one. No, Wendigo is snoring behind me. I don't know if y'all can hear it. This one actually I was okay with. So this is Black Adam #1. This is the Alex Ross variant. Very, very hot book. Came back at 9.6. So 9.6, I think is right in the realm of being reasonable. Obviously, would have liked a 9.8. Duh. But I was perfectly happy with a 9.6 in that book. All right. So next we have. So this one hurt. Harbinger #1 got a 7.0. This one is the one that I have the biggest problem with. I read the notes and it said there was like some spine split in a couple places. I did not see any spine split when I submitted it, and I don't see any spine split looking at it now. So that one I don't know. I thought it was a beautiful copy. I don't see any spine split. I mean, it could be in there and I completely missed it. I don't imagine I would miss something like that. Or they just counted like just sort of the normal wear you see on the spine as split. Maybe I can't see it very well in the slab right now just because of the way it sits, but I don't see it. I honestly don't see it. And a 7.0 hurts something that I thought was a high grade book. This is me without having read the notes, sort of contemplating of what it could have been. There, I'm thinking the white in the Valiant logo looks I don't know, almost faded. What I'm talking about here is I thought that was like it's not actually like faded white. That's just the style of that because and I pointed out the white there in the center, how that white is white. So if it was actually a faded white because it was like dirty or whatever, or had foxing or whatever, the other white would have that as well. So I think that's just, yeah, there's my unhappy face again. So was just me talking about how I think that's just part of what the logo actually looks like. So Hulk 1, the first Red Hulk, 9.6. This, again, I was okay with this. I don't think 9.8 was out of the realm of possibilities on it, so I would have rather gotten that 9.8. I would have been much happier with it. But 9.6 it's okay. It's still a good book in that grade, I feel. So this is Inhumans #5. This is the first, Yevgenia Belova, who is going to be in the Black Widow movie. This came back in 9.4. This, I don't think I expected a 9.8, but I was hopeful for a 9.6 on it. But 9.4, it is what it is. It's fine. Oh, here's the other win. This one actually I'm not selling. This I think I decided to keep this one. So this is Something That's Killing the Children #1. And I think I was talking about I didn't 9.8 pre-screen it because I would have been okay with a 9.6. I did get the 9.8. I did expect to get the 9.8, but again, as you're seeing, you don't always get what you expect. You get a bad round of grades, and you never know what you're going to get. So I didn't send that in on a pre-screen order because I figured I would be okay with a 9.6 in that particular book. New Mutants 98, we all know this. This is the first Deadpool. 9.0. And this one, I think it should have been higher. I really do. I don't remember the notes offhand, but it's for a 9.0. It's a great looking 9.0. I'll say that much. So this is DC Comics presents 47. This is the first appearance of He-Man and Skeletor in comics. This, again, it was one lower than I really expected it to be. It came back a 9.4. I was expecting a 9.6. I knew I wasn't getting a 9.8. I knew there was a blemish on there that I was not able to remove. It was just too dark, and it was on color. So trying too hard would have damaged the book. Damaged the ink on the book. But I was really hoping for a 9.6. But a 9.4 isn't horrible. And this book has really, really heated up. And a 9.4 in a book like that is still a pretty great grade. So this was a customer book. if I remember correctly, it had already been slabbed at a 9.6 and it cracked it and resubmitted it, and it got the 9.6 again, which is too bad. That's always a risk you take when cracking a slab. There's worse risks when cracking slabs, as we'll see here, I believe, shortly. This person really got the worst of it. This was a different customer that did the same thing. They had this graded by CBCS, and it was a 9.0, and they decided to crack it and resubmit it to CGC, and it came back the same. He wasn't too upset about it. That's that's this one I've given back to him, and we talked about it. He said as long as it came back the same, he was fine. He took a risk, and the risk didn't pay off, but he's not really any worse off aside from the cost of reslabbing it, obviously. So up next, Aranya, Heart of the Spider, #1. This is the Joe Quesada variant. This is the sought after cover of this, and it came back at 9.6. It's one of those where, yeah, 9.6 I suppose is fine, but I definitely thought it was a 9.8 candidate. But 9.6 isn't horrible. So this was a customer book. He had two Predator #1s, and I can't remember if either of them were reslabs or not. So one came a 7.5. I think this is the lower of the two, which the 7.5 is completely understandable. There are some major issues on the back. I think, yeah, I try to point here. You can't really, maybe you can kind of see it. It was... basically, it was like a fingerprint. There, I'm kind of going around the whole thing, but it was almost like a palm. It was huge, but it's what you could see, like the skin print, where like some oils that got in there and soaked in. So 7.5 I think is completely reasonable on that book. This is a customer book. This one was okay. Vengeance 1, the first appearance of America Chavez. This one got the 9.8, so this one is fine. This one's fine. They're obviously going to be happy about that one for sure. That's a hot book that keeps on going. This is mine. This one I was okay with. So Amazing Spider-Man 365. This is the first appearance of Spider-Man 2099. So I got a 9.6. I'm pretty happy with that. A 9.8 in this book is really, really hard to get. It's a thicker book, and it's not square bound, so it's really, really hard to get that book that has a nice corner and nice spine. This one, the hologram had some scratches on it, so I can understand it coming back a 9.6. This is Venom 1. This is a variant cover. This is the McFarlane sketch cover. Really beautiful book. It's obviously an homage to Spider-Man, a McFarlane Spider-Man cover. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it came back at 9.4. This was a bit surprised at. I thought it was at least a 9.6. But it's a rare book, so having it in any high grade is good. This is a customer book. He sent in both 141 and 142. This is the 142 and 8.5. I think this was a good get. This is a decent grade for that book. I think this is the 141 right after. Yeah, 141. It's a great pair of books to have slabbed. This one came back higher, which is good, a 9.2. It's a really, and I think I talk about here that out of the two books, the 141 is the one you want to have the higher grade. It has a lot of, it's a first Days of Future Past. It has some first appearances in it. So I think that was, those are both good. This is another customer book, Star Wars 1. I can't remember if this was a reslab. This is the customer that had reslabbed the, that Something is Killing the Children, Jay Lee. I can't remember if this was a reslab and if it was, what the grade was. But I think a 9.0 on this book, and given the condition it was in, it was actually pretty decent. That's another book that's tough to get. Came out in 1977 and was mostly in the hands of young readers. This is his as well, Avengers 196, the first Taskmaster. I think he was kind of upset about the grade this one got. I wasn't that surprised at this one. I think it was 5.5. This book definitely had it. I mean, it had some creases and things like that. But at the same time, it's first Taskmaster. It is what it is. I don't think he'll have any problems moving it, which is what I think what he expected or plans to do with it. This is the same customer, Mobius, the Living Vampire #2. This is a variant cover. This is a pretty hot variant cover. This one came back all right. This one did hit the 9.8, so he's happy with that. I mean, they're not all the books in here are bad, but the majority of them are. There were a couple of good hits in there. This was his as well, Secret Wars, #8, first symbiote, first appearance of the symbiote black costume, or however you want to call it. 6.5. Again, I if I remember correctly, I think this was pretty fair for the condition of that book. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm probably complaining. Through this whole thing, especially at this point, I was just like, oh, I'm just done with this. It's so bad. All right, this was a hard hit. So Aliens 1, this got an 8.5. This was a reslab, cracked and resubmitted, and came back lower. That hurts. I mean, that just goes to show the subjectivity, right? And it was from CGC. The same grading company came back and said, no, this is an 8.5 when it originally was a 9.0. So that's the real risk of cracking and resubmitting, is that, and I think it's the same here with the Predator, that this was a crack and resubmit. So if I sound like I'm complaining about this particular grader being harsh, here's the proof, right? These last two books for sure were graded by CGC, cracked and resubmitted, and they both came back lower. So I don't think I'm entirely unjustified in complaining a little bit that the particular grader I had on this order was kind of harsh, unfortunately. Is there anything left? That might be it. I might just be talking about stuff at this point. I'm not pulling any more books out. I can't remember what the last ones I pulled were. It must be those. So, yeah, that's it. It's unfortunate. It happens, I suppose. You can tell I'm not super happy, by my facial expressions and my body language, and by my voice right now that you're hearing. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where you hope for the best, and sometimes the worst happens, and hope better for next time. I do have, make yours Titan. There you go. I guess that's it. Thanks all. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.